Hospitalized after a fight involving Fox Sports analyst Mark Sanchez is recovering at home tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Phil Sanchez.
Welcome to the news at 6. I'm Derek Dennis. Perry Toll is also suing Sanchez and the Fox Corporation. News 8's Garrett Bergquist is here now to bring us up to date on the fight, the injuries, the charges, and now a lawsuit, Garrett.
Well, the fight put both men in the hospital. Sanchez now faces a felony battery charge, plus at least 3 misdemeanor charges. This is how Perry Toll's overnight delivery run ended. His family shared this photo through his lawyer. Police say he was parked outside the Westin Hotel's loading dock just after midnight Saturday when Sanchez approached him. Investigators say Sanchez told Toll he could not park there and then tried to get in the truck. They say he then followed Toll when Toll tried to get a security guard and shoved him. Sanchez ended up with several stab wounds, and investigators say he threw Toll into a dumpster and a pile of pallets. Sanchez now faces felony and misdemeanor battery charges, plus misdemeanor charges of public intoxication and unauthorized use of a motor vehicle.
We are still in the early stages of this investigation. Chief and his team have a number of search warrants that are still outstanding. They're still tracking down additional information. This is by no means the end of this investigation. This by no means means that these are going to be the final charges that we move forward with.
Mears says investigators have extensive surveillance footage from numerous angles, including from the Westin Hotel. Westin managers told News 8 they will not release the footage to anyone. Mears says there also are many witnesses.
This was a situation that did not need to occur. You have the allegations involve a 38-year-old man becoming involved in an altercation with a 69-year-old man who sustained significant and very severe injuries as a result of that altercation.
Toll is suing Sanchez and Fox Corporation. The lawsuit says Fox was negligent in hiring and supervising Sanchez. Toll's lawyers say working man Perry Toll was seriously injured by Mr. Mark Sanchez while at work in Indianapolis on October 4th, 2025 at approximately 12:35 a.m. The case is in its very early stages and the investigation is ongoing. Sanchez's lawyers told News 8 they had no comment.
I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do for a living. I don't care where you live. If you come into our city, commit violence, we will use all the tools at our disposal to hold you accountable.
I also asked Fox Corporation for comment. They did not respond. I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
All right, Garrett, so the legal wheels are obviously turning on several fronts in the Mark Sanchez case. First, the charges, now the lawsuit filed by the attorneys for the alleged victim. Wish TV legal analyst Zach Myers joined me earlier today and says Sanchez is certainly in legal and criminal jeopardy, and his celebrity may not help him.
Whenever you're on the receiving end of a criminal charge, especially here where it's a felony criminal charge, you're in some significant jeopardy.
So talk about his charges. They were upgraded, right? So I guess additional information came in.
That's correct. I think that as the state has said, when they had the information showing that the victim suffered serious bodily injury, that enabled the prosecutor to file an amended charge, adding that 5th-degree felony offense that subjects Mr. Sanchez, if he's convicted, to several years potentially in state prison.
And then there's the lawsuit filed by the alleged victim.
That's correct. That in addition to the criminal charges, he's also facing a claim that may lead to significant civil liability if he's found to have assaulted the victim as stated in the lawsuit. Then in addition to facing prison time, he also, under this civil suit, he and his employer, because the victim is also suing Fox Broadcasting, and they might both be liable for significant amounts of money because of what's alleged to have happened.
Is Fox a legitimate party to the lawsuit?
So in the civil suit, they've alleged that Fox failed to supervise their employee who was there in Indianapolis for work, and that they had reason to know that he was, they claim having, longstanding problems with alcohol and his behavior, and that they could have foreseen that this sort of thing would have happened. And of course, that's the kind of thing that they'll sort out in the civil suit.
Is there any defense for Mark Sanchez here? What would be his defense?
Well, I'm sure that his criminal defense lawyers, and obviously he's retained some serious ones, are working on that right now. But in any sort of altercation like this, especially here where Mr. Sanchez himself suffered what the probable cause affidavit says is, was in critical condition, that I'm sure things like self-defense are going to come into play. And, I'm sure he's going to consider other potential defenses in defending himself from the charge.
What about Mark Sanchez' celebrity here? We hear about celebrity figures getting off of charges, finding a legal loophole that they can take advantage of because of their fame and their finances. Could that be the case here?
I think that prosecutors, and of course I was a career prosecutor for almost 15 years, and I think that, as a profession, prosecutors really pride themselves on enforcing the law without fear or favor, respect to any person, that, you aren't supposed to let the notoriety of who's on the other side of a prosecution change how you approach it. And so I would hope that, and I think the state has said and has every intention of treating, Mr. Sanchez as though he were, anyone, including Mark Smith, that, he's alleged to have committed, this crime and caused this injury, and they're not going to, they've said they're not going to treat him any differently just because of his resources and notoriety, and that's what prosecutors are supposed to do.
Well, we have made it really easy for you to find much more information on this story, including an image of the victim, plus press releases and statements from lawyers. Just scan that QR code on your screen. That will take you to the As Seen On section of our website, wishtv.com.